Who are you? This is perhaps the simplest of all the questions you have put to us.
Can y'all still hear it?
It can be answered
Yes.
in just 3 words. You are consciousness. And now we understand that for many of you, this answer will not suffice. You wish us to go into great detail and to explain this in a great deal more depth. However, this is the answer. You are consciousness. And that is basically all you need to know. Consciousness is. There is not a way to explain consciousness to you in another way. You are self aware. Um, and so this is one explanation of consciousness, but it is a poor definition. Now, when you are asking us, who am I? What you really mean is, what is my purpose in this life? How do I define myself? Other than simply saying that I am consciousness. Do I have a purpose that I need to have revealed to me? Often you find that humans are asking, how do I find myself? Well, look in the mirror, look into your heart, look into your soul, and you will find that you are always there, you see? Now, you are not always the same, and we have talked about this, and others have talked about this many times, because you are multidimensional, and consciousness is multidimensional, you see? You cannot pick one atom of consciousness or one molecule of consciousness and separate it from all other consciousness. No, this is not possible. All of consciousness is interrelated, you see, because it is all one in a sense, you see. Uh, we have talked before about the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, a mathematical formula that many of your scientists use and that you are often taught in elementary school or high school math. And this is true also of consciousness, except consciousness is not bordered to make it a whole. It's not bordered, it's ever expanding. Uh, there are no limits, you see. So, do you understand? You do, I'm sure, understand that there are so many of you. There's not just one you. We have spoken many times about there being more than one reason for anything. And part of this is because you are not one thing. You are not one thing searching for one answer. No, you are many, 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 many different yous. You understand about blinking in and out of this reality. And each time that you blink, which is several times per your measure of time, seconds, for example, and each time that you blink, you come back into this reality as a different you. There are changes, you see. We have spoken also before about how when you meet a person, you don't just meet one person in one reality, you meet all of them at the same time. And each time you interact with this person or with us, it is a different one that you are interacting with, and you are different, you see. So we cannot say to you, oh, you are this or that or the other, because you are so many things at once. Now, this has brought up an issue with some of you, saying, well, who is the decision maker? Who is the one that I am mm, mm, aware of, that I am conversing with in my thoughts, that I recognize myself to be? And we say, all of you see, all of you. There is not, again, just one of you. Your desires will change, your intents will change. Mm, the paths that you take will change, you see, and they do this constantly, constantly. Your reality changes constantly. So it is based on where your focus is at any given time, where you choose to place your focus for whatever reasons. This may seem paradoxical, but we assure you it is a reality. And so the only simple answer to the question is that you are consciousness. Now, we understand that there may be many more questions around this topic, and we are happy to attempt to answer them for you. You need merely uh, type or send an email or call or whatever you wish to do to this one, and she will transmit these questions to us, or we may peek and take a look at the email or comment and address it at another time. Now, we have considered going live, if you will, on this topic. And if you so desire us to do that, then leave a comment. Now, we understand how short this is, but we do not wish to go into great lengths to discuss something that has been discussed innumerable times and that has such a simple answer. You are consciousness. That is the answer to your question. Now, we understand that this is perhaps very confusing to you, and that you wish us perhaps to answer in such a way as to say, oh, you are the ones who seek love, or you are the ones who seek your purpose, or whatever. There are so many different answers out there. But again, those are specific to a particular time, a particular focus. They are not the great answer, the general answer, the answer that applies to all of existence. And that answer is you are consciousness. Okay, she apparently doesn't have anything else to say at this time, so we're going to close and post this. Okay, what do y'all got to say about that? Go, Clutchton, I hear your brain moving.
No, it is I mean the question is who are you is going to be different for every one of us. Uh and for me it's just I want to go down some rabbit holes. Like I've heard we are a conglomerate of species DNA wise, and and if she could speak to that, and how many are they, and I'm just looking for some corroboration on some of the things I've been studying. So that's the kind of rabbit hole I would go down, if I had to ask her anything at this point. Um, because I
Okay.
understand we are consciousness, we all are, but still, I'm in this meat suit, and so I want to learn about this meat suit, you know what I mean?
Okay. She's kind of talking to me while you're answering and or while you're asking questions. And it brings up some of the things she was going to talk about, but did not talk about. Because, like I said, she's been talking to me all week
Hmm.
about a lot of things. So, first of all, uh, she says, no, you are wrong. It is not different for each of you. It is the same for every living thing, be it alien, mineral, rock, whatever. You are consciousness, and they are consciousness, and that's it. And it doesn't make any difference what race you are, what century you're
Hmm.
in, anything
Right.
like that.
Mhm.
You are consciousness. That is the answer. She keeps saying, that is the
Right.
answer. That is the answer.
I,
And
I understand that part.
everything else is dependent.
Hmm.
Okay, here's one of the things she was going to talk about that she didn't, and that's the blink. The far side of the blink, what or the back side, or I don't know what you would call it, but if you're blinking in and out of this reality, right?
Hmm.
But when you are not in this reality, when your blink is on, I don't know, I call it the back
The
side,
backside. Hmm.
whatever, right? Uh, those realities are just as valid and just as real as the reality that you are supposing that you are in right now, that you are perceiving that you are in right now. So, since there was communication between all of them, your focus on this one is not any more important, not any more different really than your focus in any of the others. The same when you're dreaming, right? All you do is shift your focus. You don't die to dream. You don't have to do anything special to dream. All you're doing is changing your focus. And all of the yous, all of them, uh, who dream or even who don't dream, like say a rock, right? Is doing the same thing, is focusing, blinking in and out, in and out, in and out of all of these realities. So, uh, as far as the DNA stuff that you're asking about, Cludston, and I think that she has answered you on this before, that it's your choice which one you're going to choose, which one you're going to experience. You can experience one of them, all of them, one of them in the blink, one of them in dreams. It doesn't the choice of where your focus is going to be is yours. It's
Hmm.
yours alone.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you will be okay. Uh another thing she was going to talk about, but didn't, is imagine, okay, now she's told me this several times, so I should be able to get it right. Imagine three rulers, okay? And they're stacked, one, two, three. And each one of them has a whole bunch of different holes in them that you can look through. And each of these holes represents a probable reality, right? So you can look through a hole on the first ruler, and you can continue to look at holes on that ruler. You can jump around, you can go forward, backwards, whatever. Or you can be looking through a hole in the first ruler and then switch your focus to a hole in the second ruler and then switch it to a hole in the third ruler, right? Now, is any one of those more valid than the other? No, of course not. Do you experience all of them? Yes, you do. It's just that when you are focused in ruler one, you don't think about ruler two. It doesn't, it just doesn't affect you. And it does affect you, but you don't perceive it as affecting you because you have switched so much of your focus to stay in ruler one. So that goes back to what you were asking about. You want to know about DNA and how many aliens are they and this, that, and the other. That's your choice. We keep getting back to that. You have asked this question numerous times, and you're not the only one. So I'm not picking on you really, Cludston, because lots of people have asked that question. And the answer is always the same. It's up to you. What do you want? What is your purpose in this reality according to you?
Hmm.
Now, according to all that is, the purpose is experience. The
Hmm.
adding to all that is, that's the only purpose. There's
Hmm.
no judgment, there's nothing. It's just what is your determination.
Hmm.
So I don't know what that does to help you, Cludston, but that's the answer.
Right. I get that. I want to know 500,000 years ago to
There is
around
no
that,
time.
around, right.
We've been through this before too. There is no 5,000 years ago. There's only now, right now.
Mhm.
And you determine which right now you're
Mhm.
going to believe,
Mhm.
focus, intend. You know,
Mhm.
you can research. Yeah, I know, Eve. Okay. You, excuse me. She's sending me an image of a judge with a gavel and he's pounding and pounding and pounding on the gavel as if to say, how many times do we have to tell you this? You make the decision.
Mhm.
Time is not linear. Everything is happening at once. So if you want to know what happened 500,000 years ago in your terms, decide. Decide what it was. Pick a book, pick a teacher, pick whatever. Make the decision, and that will be your reality because all the other probabilities still exist, are still going on. You've just decided to use this one. Uh, There's not another answer. I can't make it any more clear. I don't know if Eve can make it any more clear. I don't think so, or she would have. It's a way of changing the way you think,
Mhm.
changing the way you perceive. And so as long as you persist in what has she called it before to you? Um, like blindfolds, looking at one particular reality, as long as you persist in that, uh, whatever answers you get are going to come from your choice. Whatever choice you choose to believe, you're not going to get an answer that is true because they are all true. They are all true. And that's the gavel. That's the gavel telling you they are all true. Take a
Does,
pick.
does, does this mean then, I don't know if I'm understanding this right, that we've got no history?
That's correct. You have the history that you have decided to believe in. Or you can look at it as you have an infinite number of histories because time isn't linear, you see, so you can't go back. Even like yesterday, right? You can't go back and say, yesterday I had pizza for dinner because the probabilities are that you had any number of things for dinner. You had all these different things for dinner, but you choose to believe that you had pizza for dinner that serves whatever purpose you have. And perhaps many of the other yous that you are connected to also had pizza for dinner, but there will be yous that didn't have dinner at all. There will be yous that had salad for dinner. There will be yous that are not even in physical form, and so they didn't have dinner at all in your terms, right? So it's not it's
So how many of ourself are we experiencing at the same time then?
all of them.
Is that unlimited? Mm.
Yes. You,
See, I understand about the energy and the consciousness can subdivide multiple times. We can bilocate. I understand all of that. But I understand also that we can go from one dimension to another in the blink of an eye in a
correct.
nanosecond. So I get that. I'm following that. But the history, surely, if we've lived through these time frames, then towards that is a history because we've been there and done it at some point in our journey. Mm.
No, you're doing it now.
No, but we could have gone back and forth many times, surely, because we're fluid. We're just energy.
Well, it's not that you go back and forth. It's that you change your focus. You change your focus, okay? time is not linear. That's imperative
Mm.
to
Oh, I
remember.
understand that. I totally understand that.
Right. So, since it is not linear, there's no going back, there's no going forward. There's only what you perceive as the now,
In the
right?
moment. Yes, in the
Yeah,
moment. Yeah.
in the moment. Exactly, Carolyn. So, when you're talking about history, you're switching to a linear time frame. You're thinking in a linear time frame. When you say, I want to go back in history and know what happened, whatever, that's a linear question that
Mhm.
is only valid.
So why is it then that we have it in this world? What's the purpose or reason behind it that we're taught this through school, through
Well,
family?
you're not always taught the same thing, are you?
I understand that because our history books now are having to be rewritten from when I was at school in the 60s and 70s,
Exactly.
you
That's
know,
right.
and all the archaeologists that are unearthing things constantly, daily,
That's
and other speech, everything that is coming to the surface in our world, rewrites the books.
that's right. That's right. So the reasons are again, all right, just a minute. She may have to come through and talk. I wasn't gonna do that, but I may have to. I'm trying to translate what she's giving to me.
Hmm.
Uh, okay. She's saying the purpose of all that is experience, yeah? And it's ever expanding. So when you choose to become physical, it is because you wish to experience physicality. Now, why you wish this is, again, as we've said, there's never one reason, never one answer,
Hmm.
never just one. So this will be individual. For example, when you talk about the history books and the changes in the books, you will find throughout time, your definition of time, that there are again varying reasons. Now, the wise one recently posted a video where this guy is talking about going into the files or archives of the Roman Catholic Church. And he is finding things in there that are kept secret, you see. And
Hmm.
he's finding that many of the books of the so-called Bible have been changed. And this is not just Christianity. You understand, all of
Oh
the
no, no.
Christians have done this. And they do it for political reasons, for financial reasons,
Mm.
for reasons of pride, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So the same is true with your history books. Now, if you wish to, you can go into a meditative state. You can take yourself into one of these historical pasts and you can experience it. Now, which one you will experience is a variable. You know, if the wise one goes into one and you go into another, your histories will appear to be different because they are different, because you are different. You do not experience ever the same thing as another. Never. Does this help
I
you?
understand that. It's like the witness, isn't it? Everybody perceives things differently.
Yes,
The eyes,
absolutely.
perceive things differently. The mind changes what the perception is.
Well, not so much the mind, because when you're talking about the mind, you're talking primarily about a physical thing. So more of the essence. We've used that word before, and we believe it might be the closest we can come to explaining why all the yous have something in common, because you all have the same essence, right? And then that essence veers off into various pathways. So it's not so much the mind as it is the essence. Does that help you?
Hmm. I understand that. Yeah.
That's good.
So you're saying that, and this is for me, whatever I believe happened, happened.
Yes.
Mm.
There are so many probabilities, you see, and you do not have to believe a certain thing happened today, and
Mhm.
then tomorrow believe something different happened.
Mhm.
That's fine as well,
Mhm.
because you're uh, uh, traveling through many different probabilities, through many different realities at one time. And so the changes that happen uh, to you or that you perceive to have happened, those changes will change. Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering what our police force would make of all this when
Well,
it comes to getting witnesses for a scene
well, that's
or a
true. And
judge.
that is actually an issue
Yes,
because they will say when they're in court, we have five different witnesses and each witness has a different
exactly.
story. Exactly true. Yes, that's correct. And if you project that to say it takes 10 years for someone to go on trial, yes, in that 10 years, all of those witnesses will be completely different. They will be different because of everything they have experienced or perceived or chosen over that 10 years. And so many of them won't have the same story in 10 years. They will have,
Yeah, but if there is no time, there is no 10 years, is there?
no, there isn't. But
Just the moment.
right. We are speaking
Mm.
in physical terms, and this is
Hmm.
something we have addressed before, that in many ways, in order to get a concept across, in order to explain something, we have to revert to linear time.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
But you are correct. 10 years from now is now.
Because there's the saying here, there is no tomorrow, and
That's right.
yesterday is gone.
Mhm.
Yes.
And they tell us to live in the moment.
Yes. There have been many. This one is thinking of Baba Ram Das, but there have been many of your great teachers, yogis, whatever, uh, that have used that expression now. Be here now. Think only about the
Mm.
now. Any progress that you make will start now. So this is not a new concept either. None of the things that we have spoken to you about are new. The concepts are not new. They're just
Yes, it's just bringing it to a different generation. Yeah.
yes, correct.
They say that, they tell us that there's nothing new in this world.
Correct.
Hmm.
In
So
any,
that brings me on to a question.
yes,
Uh, at the moment in this time, in many people's moments of time, they believe that the human race is contributing to the global warming and the erosion of the planet. But we know nature has done this times over, and
yes,
yet they appear to perceive it to be just happening in this time. And yet, if you look at nature, nature's constantly evolving and changing.
yes.
So why do they feel it's just happening now and it's never happened before?
Because, pardon us, we wish to laugh heartily, but this one will not do.
Yes, so do we.
Yeah, yes, because they are stuck. We will say stuck in a physical reality that meets their desires, that meets their,
Hmm.
so to speak. And so they will ignore other things. Just as we have spoken about, there is no blank space. There's no such thing as a void or a vacuum. That every bit of consciousness is filled. It's just a question of which you perceive. Now, when you entered into this particular physical reality, you agreed well, most of you agreed to perceive it through five senses. There are those who perceive it through more, and some of them are you who are here today. So if you are experiencing through the five senses, you miss a great deal. You miss so much because there's so much out there that can be perceived with other than the five senses, you see. So those scientists or persons who look at climate change and say, oh, this is the first time or whatever, they're only using their five senses. Many of them are only using three or four of them, but uh, uh, this is the reason. If they were to expand, such as many of you have done, what they can perceive, they would see the fallacy in their argument.
So the reason I have these questions, and I understand this all now, I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything that's happening now. But the fact that lots of people that I'm working with uh, are sick, but they don't need to be, right? And some entity at some point in time decided that they would withhold certain things from the populace. And so so I'm trying to go backwards, even though there's no backwards. How did we get here today that there's so many poor people, so many sick people, that have no idea about what's going on behind the scenes? Like, how did we get here, and and who set that up, and
Mm.
how far back, if there's no back, how far does that go? When did that happen? I understand there are things that are falling apart now, some of those ideas, but those are the reasons for my questions. Um,
Mhm.
how did we get how did I become me right now? And I understand all the other stuff. How did we
No,
get
you
here?
don't. You don't. You don't understand it because you wouldn't ask these questions if you did understand it. And this is what we are trying to get through to all of you, and especially to you, wise one. You do not understand it. You think you do, but you don't. If you look at it in great terms, which is what all of you are after, all of you are after the great reality. This is what your ultimate
Mm.
desire is to know the great reality.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
I
there
think we're
is,
trying to understand, aren't we? We're trying to understand how we've evolved to what we are.
yes, but again, you're speaking in linear terms. Evolve, evolution, that is
No,
a
not
linear
necessarily.
concept. You are perceiving what you are perceiving because it is your desire and your intent. Yes? Now, who sets these desires and intents? You do. And you do it in mass with all of the other yous, both the yous that are in physical reality, the yous that are behind the blink, the yous that are only probabilities in your terms, you see? So there is not uh, an answer to linear questions that we are willing to give you because they will be false. They will be false answers. We can easily say to you, oh, this all started when Lumania was ruling the earth, and the aliens came down and they made such and such a changes in your body. And over the millennia, this has caused whatever. This has caused you to look a certain way, smell a certain way, act a certain way. We can give you all of that, but it will not be the truth. We are here to give you the truth, you see? And if we were to give you a scenario such as we have just said about the Lumanians, well, that's fake. We could as easily say it was the people from Atlantis. We could say it was the Mayans. We could say it was Columbus. We could say it was George Washington. Doesn't matter. All probabilities exist. You choose your focus. And that's the important part. Your focus, you see, your essence is focusing in physical reality for its own purposes. But determining which history is real is not a purpose.
Well, can you explain then why so many of us are having the same experiences at the same time
You
in what
aren't.
we perceive as time?
You aren't. You are not. You see, that's another fallacy. You are not experiencing the same thing. You are experiencing what you are experiencing. Now, there may be some bleed through, there may be some similarities because your essences are so closely related, your probable selves, etc., are so closely related. The essences are closely related. But no one, no aliveness of any kind experiences the same thing as you do because their focus is different. No two alivenesses have the same focus. You just don't. That's the reality. Yes, yes. This one reminds us of something from one of the books she read. She uses the name Seth, who talks about, and we thoroughly agree with this 100%. If you are in a room and a person comes in, how many people are really there? Well, there's your essence, there's the essence of the person that has entered the room, and there's another essence, which is the combined essence of the two of you. Yes? So there's not uh, you create additional use all of the time, all of the time. This is
So when we meet with other people, the blending of our essence, our energy creates more.
yes, absolutely, yes. And this is, we go back, we've mentioned this before, I believe, in Christianity at least, they talk about the gifts that you have been given by the great creator, whatever term you use. And they say you have been made in the creator's image. Well, that's true. And what that image is creation. It's not two arms, two legs, hair, a brain, a thought wave. It's none of that. It is your ability to create, not just your ability. It is what you do. You do it all day, every day. You are constantly creating. You cannot not create because that is what consciousness is. Consciousness is creating. You see, it is creation. So you are constantly creating. Does this answer your question?
I think so. I understand that. I can go with that.
Very good. Is there more? Does the Peter have a question?
Really, I kind of understand a little bit what you're saying is just kind of live the now and not be too much concerned about what happened to the past or what happened in the future. Be considered what's happening now. And I do realize you and I could have the same experience, the same accident, and I would experience it different than you would.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Who
that's why
else?
that's why, a lot of times you hear people go to funerals and they say, "Oh, I know what you're going through." No, you don't know what they're going through.
Correct. That is correct. They do not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all perceive grief differently, don't we?
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
And it depends on the circumstance, doesn't it, as well? How the passing is, you know, what the issues were around at the time, and what the person themselves is capable of dealing with.
Yes. We have done a talk on grief. If you wish to take a listen to it at some point.
Yeah, we're going through that at the moment. We've just lost a loved one. Well, not lost as such. She's gone to the higher life, but she's had a good inning. 96, so it's a good inning.
Yes,
Mhm, mhm,
very good.
mhm.
She was happy to go.
We will say that in the great scheme of things, everyone is happy to go. They may not express it at the moment, but as soon as they go, they are glad because they are returning to. Again, we run across the difficulty with words. They are returning to a more normal self, a more full self, the source self, if we may use those terms.
Could you explain then? I know there's two schools of thought here, because one will say it's a form of dementia. I know that you understand that. And I would see it differently, that my mother-in-law was speaking in several different languages to different religious people. And I've never known her talk in any other language than the English that she knows. She certainly didn't speak foreign languages. And she was conversing with a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi. She was speaking in Latin to a Catholic priest and various other ones. And then this was months ago, not just now when she's passed. This was quite, well, over a year ago. And she was talking to these people. And then she said, "Oh, we're all right now. The spiritualists are here. So it's all going to be all right."
Yes.
But it made me wonder, is that this ability to speak in languages that you no conception of, going from one, like there was a group of them all in the room, and she was talking to all of these people. And then she just suddenly stopped talking to them and said, "Oh, the spiritualists are here. You can go now." And that was it. And
Yes.
she often did that for quite some time, a good year in our time before she passed.
Well,
So it was interesting to watch it, very interesting. But I did read that sometimes in the dementia state at that time, she'd only just started with it, so she wasn't full blown. So it was quite unusual, I thought, at the
well,
time.
it has nothing to do with dementia. Now, we spoke in length about dementia. Uh, we believe it was in the memory videos. And that dementia primarily is a preparation for passing over.
Oh yes, I understand that. Yes.
Yes. Now,
Mm.
as far as speaking in other languages, there may be a couple of reasons for this, a couple of ways that it occurs. One is by tuning in to other lives. Now, you understand that you are multiple people, you have multiple lives, blah, blah, blah. So say there's someone there speaking in German. She may have tuned in, sent out a message or a request to one of her German selves and said, "Please come and help me speak to this person." And so that person did. It can also be done through telepathy, where she just tuned into the mind of the German and picked up the language that way. You see, it doesn't have to be just one way. It doesn't have to be, the dementia has caused her brain to go back to a book she once read on the German language.
Mm.
Although that's a possibility as
I
well.
just have to point out there wasn't any physical people there. To everybody else, she was talking to the air.
Oh,
There was no physical presence of anybody there. I felt people in the room, but I'm sensitive to them. So
right.
what we would term spirit people, and she was conversing to all these people, just having as if she'd got them all there in the room with her.
Well,
Then it was, yeah, and I thought, oh, they're coming, they're getting her ready. I understood that they were preparing her for what was to come. But I thought it was very interesting to observe it. It was very to see and fluently speaking and jabbering away, and to all and some other people, they would have thought, oh, she's just talking to herself. But I could see that she was talking to these other people. I saw the rabbi through my spirit eyes, and I was sensing the presence of the priest there. But certainly, it was quite interesting, though.
well, we would say that this was a lesson for you, except
Mm-hmm.
you didn't really need that lesson. You already knew.
Oh no! I just enjoyed the moment,
There you
just to
go.
witness it. Yes, yeah. I just thought something I would, remember.
And share with her. You
Mm.
shared that
Oh yeah,
experience
she said,
with
oh,
her.
as soon as when I came into the room, she was talking to these people. I sat down at the side of the hospital bed, and then she looked at them and she said, "Oh, you can go now. The spiritualist are here." It was so funny. Yeah. But it was just something that stuck out, and I thought it was interesting.
It sounds
Because we know that loved ones come to collect us, don't they? They get us ready weeks, months in advance for this journey, this big journey that we go on.
yes, they can.
When we
A
return to
a
source.
portion of them can.
Yeah.
Other portions of them are elsewhere. But we would say a good way to view this, and I'm sure you do, is as a gift, a moment
Oh
that
yes,
two of
yeah.
you shared together before her actual passing.
Mm.
Is there anything else? If there's nothing else, we will return this one to her solo body.
I am good for the moment. This moment.
Ah,
I don't know.
where did Pamela go?
It's almost 3 o'clock. We started too. Some time has passed.
No, it hasn't. No, it
In
hasn't.
our world.
Well, because I'm thinking
It
of
wasn't
cooking.
time,
So,
Peter. It was the blink of an eye.
yeah, I know. I took meat out, so it has to thaw. So some time has passed, but there's no time. So
You
Try
know,
I'm
staring
living
It
at
two
me.
never
lives.
really happened.
I'm
We're
living
not
two
putting the
lives.
clock forward.
Yeah, I'm living two lives, or I mean, multiple lives, I guess. One where there's no
So
time,
there's
and
a
the one
question.
where I am perceiving there is a time and there is no time.
Just stare at
Glenson,
me.
there's a question there, isn't there? Why do you have all these time zones in one country and we only have one in Britain?
Because we created them.
That's right. We certainly
Well,
did.
according to what they
go
tell us
to
over here,
Alaska. Look how many time zones are up in Alaska.
our time was set to the railways. Greenwich Mean Time was set to the railway timetable. And up and down the country, there was a fraction out. And so, because we had, like you, we had different local times back in the day. And then now, because the trains came, the railways came, they had to have everything synchronized so that they could formulate a timetable.
Oh, and I thought everything was with Big Ben.
No, that's how it started. So then, before we were like you, we had all these. So if we was in Scotland, I'm in the middle. In the middle, our time was slightly different to Scotland, and so down south and in Wales and Ireland, everything was slightly different, just as it is in your country.
It's very frustrating, isn't it? It is for me.
But now we're all on the same. We have winter time and summertime.
Well, I have friends and relatives all over the place, and it drives me a little bit nuts because I always have to be mindful, Oh, I want to call so and so and tell them this. Oh, wait, it's only 3 o'clock in the morning where they are, I have to focus and switch things around. But that's
I
the
have to check the times with you, especially when you change from winter to summer.
Yeah, which is
That's
Because
coming
that
coming
throws
up.
everything out.
That's coming up in like a week
in November.
Yeah.
or something.
November.
Are you before us or after us?
I don't know. What do we do? Let's
So after
Ours is in
your
about
time
2
comes
weeks.
fall
before
back.
us.
We will go back 1 hour when this change takes place.
Yeah, same as us, but it's like, I think normally you're the week before us, and we go the sort of right at the end of the month.
Yeah, it is because my birthday's at the end of the month, and that's how I remember that the time change is coming because it's right around that
Right after
time.
Halloween.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Are
Mm.
there any other questions on who we are? Otherwise, I'll pause the recording and we can just chat.
Well, Anne, do you have anything you'd like to ask or comments you'd like to make? All right,
You're mute.
you're on.
I
Yeah.
think she said no.
I don't. Thank you.
I would
Okay.
like to share one thing.
Mhm.
I saw a lot of dead bodies, in when I was on the emergency care and so forth. And majority of them all had a smile
Mm.
before they passed. No, really, I mean,
Mm.
there's
Yeah.
had to be something that gave them that smile.
Mhm.
Do you know what fascinates me is, I bet you've heard this story from numerous people over the time. They've got a relative who's basically at death's door. They all rush to see him. By the time they get over there, they've perked up. And I know people that have been called in the middle of the vacation. They've been away out of the country and had to come back to visit the relative. So it'd be a close relative. And they'd be sitting up in bed as large as life.
Mhm.
And then they get back home, and then within a week or so, they've totally gone.
Mhm.
And I once did ask the spirit world of that, and they said it's because that's how they want you to remember them,
That
Mhm.
makes sense
so
to
that you
me.
go not as as they are at that very last moment.
Right. Mhm.
I mean, some passings are very sublime, aren't they? They're very well. I mean, I've been fortunate to sit with my mum and one of my brothers who's passed, and it was incredible. The evidence I had from my brother when I had a private sitting with a medium, later on became a close friend, and the evidence she gave me through about that time was it was mind blowing. So it is right. That they are present, aren't they? Even right up to the end, they're
Mhm.
still present in listening and knowing what we're doing.
Mhm.
That was given back to me, and she didn't know anything about what had happened
Mhm.
because I didn't know her well enough then to speak about it. She just knew he'd passed, and that was it.
Mhm.
Didn't know how, when it happened, how it happened, nothing. But it gives back you, doesn't it? It gives you that confidence that what you believe in, what what you understand is correct. And it gives you that hope to carry on with when things get tough.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I hope to still be with y'all when we make the time change.
I'm
But
nice to be back on with you.
yeah, well,
I've missed you all.
Carolyn and Anne, you don't know this, but when my brother passed, he was 75 years old. When my sister passed, she was 77 years old. Now, I can't remember what it was I did. I did some sort of mathematical calculation, and it came out that I would die at 75, which I am now until the end of the month, and then I turn 76. So I've been halfway joking with people that that's my current goal, to make it to 76.
Yvonne
Well,
was
you
like
still
that
could
when I
talk to
met
us,
when I met
Yvonne.
Yvonne. She was like, "I'm gonna die at 45,"
Oh,
and
really?
then it came to 45, and she was like, "No, well, the numbers are backward. It's 54." And now she's in her 60s, so it's like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna
Things
keep changing
change.
the rules.
You could come back and be a guide for me, Yvonne, when you go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No,
I'll have the
not
whole
going.
team. I'll say, oh, the Texas, the US lot's in.
Mhm.
That's funny.
Yes,
But you
Yeah, I
know,
would like. Have you ever, any of you? Obviously, you know the story about Lincoln, Abe Lincoln, and Nettie Colburn. You know,
no.
I just wondered if how you perceived all that over there, because when we read the story about them, how they
What story is
interacted with
that?
yeah, I don't
about
know.
Abraham Lincoln's wife, and they used to bring Nettie Colburn, the American medium,
Yeah.
to
Oh,
the White
yeah.
to
Yeah.
sit with
Oh,
them.
we consider Abraham
Yeah.
Lincoln a spiritualist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a story. You know, I used to have my seance group, and it finished when we went into lockdown. We had it for 22 years. And the lady whose house I sat at was the then president of my local church. And they've done the family tree, and she was a direct descendant of Abe Lincoln. And she was a Sinclair. Her dad was a Sinclair because he came from Scotland. And when he traced it back, it was all on a father's side. He was going right back to Abraham Lincoln. So that was quite interesting. That and we used to have.
You froze, Carolyn.
How cold is it in England?
She froze.
She froze, yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna pause the recording. We can chat when she gets back.
Yeah.
Here she comes.
So
You got frozen, so we lost you a little bit there, Carolyn.
Yeah, she's froze. Yeah, I'm gonna just pause it.